Welcome to In24 Headline News. We are in the heart of it. I'm Thomas Sniedzins, your anchor for today. To be first to get In24 headlines and all our productions, go to msmu.me or download our app from the App Store. Let's take a look at today's top news. Former Michigan Governor Rick Snyder is facing a year in jail if convicted for his role in the Flint water crisis. In 2014, the city changed its water source from Lake Huron to Flint River. The switch was an attempt to save money. However, residents began reporting symptoms like hair loss and rashes. The water had a bad taste and smell. Residents began falling ill and 12 people died. It took a year for the administration to address the problem, but it was too late, because adults and children had already started suffering from lead poisoning. Along with the charges laid against Snyder, 9 manslaughter charges have been leveled against the state's former health director, Nick Leon. State prosecutors also filed indictments against 8 other defendants. On Friday, the U.S. Department of State released a fact sheet of details of the alleged lab origins of COVID-19, accusing China of creating the pathogen and a subsequent cover-up. The document also speculated that the Wuhan Institute of Virology, the suspected source of the virus, performed covert assignments for the Chinese military. The intentionally altered and deleted documents of its lab activities. In a press conference today, Chinese Foreign Minister spokesperson Hua Chuanying dismissed the fact sheet as conspiracy theory and lies. She said that the document is rife with contradictions and errors, and cannot hold any water. Germany's Deutsche Bank will pay out nearly $125 million to avoid U.S. prosecution on charges of engaging in foreign bribery schemes and manipulating precious metal markets. According to the charges, the bank has violated the Federal Foreign Corrupt Practices Act over its dealings in Italy, Saudi Arabia, Abu Dhabi, and China. After 3 years of legal battles, the bank agreed to settle with the payout for the corruption, which occurred between 2008 and 2017. The bank also dropped President Donald Trump and his companies as a client after the Capitol riots, in order to regain some public image. The Supreme Court in the Inca region of Peru is investigating a statement made by a local court, claiming that COVID-19 was invented by the, quote, criminal elites. The statement comes after a local court moved to justify a petition for an extension of pre-trial detention in a criminal court case due to the unpredictable nature of the virus that they alleged was created by Bill Gates, George Soros, Stephen Rockefeller, and others. The accusation has sparked conspiracy theory debates, which link Bill Gates to an older video that recently resurfaced, where he talks about fearing future pandemics that can kill 10 million people. Let's take a look.
Today, the greatest risk of global catastrophe doesn't look like this. Instead, it looks like this. If anything kills over 10 million people in the next few decades, it's most likely to be a highly infectious virus.
For more on the story, visit our website, in24.ca. That's INN24.ca. More news is on the way, but first, let's take a short break, and remember to download the msmu.me app from your app store and follow us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Telegram to keep up to date with the uninterrupted news. Welcome back to In24, In the Heart of It. I'm your host, Thomas Sniedzins, and you're watching Headline News. New videos are added to our Inner Collection section at in24.ca regularly. The story of Yu Ermei is one of them. The 88-year-old potter spent the last 8 years building a porcelain palace in Jingdezhen, China. A building tiled with over 60,000 pieces of artisanal ceramics. In a documentary shot by Gold Thread 2, Yu talked about the rich history of porcelain making in her hometown. At 79, Yu pursued her lifelong dream to construct a porcelain monument to rival ones in China and Spain, even in the face of discouragement from her own children. With another 5 years until its completion, the Porcelain Palace is a major tourist attraction. Yu said she is happy that she has achieved her dream on her own terms. Last October, independent member of Provincial Parliament Randy Hillier launched an online petition demanding the end to the Covid-19 lockdown in Ontario. Over 3 months later, the petition has amassed more than 15,500 signatures. Hillier has been a vocal critic of the public health measures enacted by the province, having launched other petitions against mandatory masking, the state of emergency, and demanding the reopening of schools in the past. In December, dozens of doctors signed an open letter to Hillier denouncing his claims about COVID-19 as misinformation, CTV News reported. You could read the full N24 coverage of the story on our website with the production code A0224. CIA has released UFO files following a Freedom of Information Act request by podcaster John Greenwald Jr. Greenwald made the files available in a searchable PDF format on his website, Black Vault. Most of the information is visibly redacted. On January 8th, Greenwald tweeted that he has a mandatory declassification review request pending for the last 2 years to get rid of some of the redactions. CEOs of top Canadian banks discussed economic projections at an RBC-hosted conference, predicting that increased consumer spending will happen as early as 2021 and as late as 2022. In Monday's virtual Canadian Bank CEO conference, leaders of top banking institutions discussed the country's economic health for the upcoming year. CBC News reported that the chief executives agreed there will be an imminent economic rebound led by consumers, but it will depend on how quickly vaccines are distributed in the coming months. RBC's chief executive, Dave McKay, said that between 4 and 4.5 million Canadians must be vaccinated before we can reopen the economy again. He also argued that government relief programs must continue and that the state needs to allocate more assistance to vulnerable sectors like small businesses, hospitalities, and transportation. To see the entire process our team goes through from selecting to developing a story, check out our website and click on Assignment Desk Show. Follow our journey, turning information into featured stories. Now for In Review. Last summer in Toronto, hundreds of community allies participated in one of many Freedom for Children marches around the world to raise awareness about human trafficking and child exploitation. Supporters marched from Nathan Phillips Square to Queen's Park. Many allies wore blue clothes and held blue balloons in solidarity with victims of human trafficking. In24 spoke with Toronto ambassadors Monica Gomez and Zark Fatah, as well as other local allies, to learn more about the Freedom for the Children initiative. Let's take a look.
What inspired you to put this all together?
So Freedom for the Children is a global movement that has orchestrated marches across North America today, and Monica and I were asked to be the Toronto ambassadors to represent the march here in our own city.
Your name and what brought you here?
My name is Zach Savage, and I just wanted to be a part of the movement. I really believe that until we're all aware of this and until we see that we are this planet and we are the children, then none of us have made it. And I just find it extremely important, and I wanted to be here to raise awareness for that.
Okay, we are here with Chantel. We are their voice. Do you want to explain that a little more and also what brought you here?
Well, I put we are their voice because children are the most vulnerable beings on earth, and children can't get out and protest for themselves, right? So we have to come and be their voice and speak aloud for them, because if we don't, then no one else will. And I'm actually here from Oshawa. I took the GO bus all the way down because I really believe in this. And when we free the children, we free the rest of the world, honestly.
Do you have any messages for children or for parents out there who are hearing this and how they can kind of become self-aware and really take action into their own hands?
Yeah, I say we always push education. A lot of people don't know what's happening. They don't understand what's happening. And as hard as it is to look at it and to read about it, we have to. It's the only way that we're going to make a change. And for parents, they need to educate their children. This is an important matter. It's happening to kids younger and younger. Social media is a huge issue when it comes to pedophiles reaching out to underage children. And it's happening to boys and girls. Don't just think it's only girls. It's happening to boys too.
First off, I just want to thank everyone for being here. Our future children, obviously, thank you for being here. I never really thought that I could be a victim of sexually molestation, but in my early 20s, I was fit, I was from the streets, I knew how to fight, I knew how to take care of myself, but it happened to me. I was drugged in a room, I woke up with a man on my body doing weird stuff to me, and this can happen to men, it can happen to women, it can happen to children, boys, girls, so don't think that you can't be a victim.
To find out more about the fight against human trafficking and how you can contribute, visit the In24 article of this event with links to the organizations and resources. You could watch the full video on msnu.me or on In24 YouTube channel with production code A0056. In review, In24 conducted a report on vitamin D examining studies indicating that adequate levels of vitamin D can help fortify the immune system and potentially help the body's fight against pathogens, including COVID-19. With the lower levels of natural light during the winter, we wanted to revisit the information. Take a look.
Well, vitamin D is a phenomenal molecule in our body. It's actually a prohormone, goes through synthesis in the skin, that goes to the liver, the kidney. It becomes a molecule called calcitriol. And we have receptors all over our body. Almost every cell in our body has a receptor for this calcitriol, particularly the immune system. And so we've known for a long time through independent cell research that vitamin D does boost and modulate the immune system, as well as the other stuff we know about cardiovascular, as well as bone health. And so studies were coming out of China early on when people were getting sick in the hospital. And they started realizing that people that were the sickest in the hospital and had the longest duration of illness had the lowest levels of vitamin D. And these were retrospective observational studies that were done looking at the population in China that had gotten infected. So based upon that, they looked at a lot of patients and realized that those that were the sickest had the lowest vitamin D levels. Now, it could also mean that people that are sick in general have low vitamin D levels, but nevertheless, it's an important piece of information demonstrating there's another molecule that we probably should be supplementing with to decrease our risk overall. So that's where the data is coming from these observational studies. There is a randomized clinical trial going on right now at Harvard to look at this to see actually is there a difference. But this is the data coming out from China right now.
For more information about the effects of sun exposure and immune health, watch the full In the Wiki episode on msmu.me or the In24 YouTube channel with production code A0024. Thank you for watching Internet News Headlines. Remember to download the msmu.me app or visit msmu.me to get the latest from In24. You can also get updates from in24.ca or follow us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and Telegram. Have a good one. I'm Thomas Sniedzins, in the heart of it.